Hey, glad you made it. I know my dorm room can be hard to find. Come on in. Did anyone see you? Not that I mind. It's just... Class 1A can be surprisingly gossipy. And just letting a new person into my room, especially one that everyone is saying that I Anyway, I've gotten everything ready. Did you bring your notebook and pens? Okay. Well, if we need it, I have some extra in my desk. Have a seat. There's a pillow for you there, unless you want to sit on my bed. Actually, don't. No. Sorry, that would be way too much for me. Yeah. Well, let's have a seat already. I have everything we need. Thanks again for helping me out with my project. I'm supposed to pick a topic for advanced study, and I decided I wanted to take a better look at quirk biology. More specifically, quirk genetics. Since 80% of the world is born with a quirk and 20% isn't, it's just so fascinating. And I wonder if there's a way to help ensure future generations to have quirks. Thinking about it, maybe I should have become a quirk geneticist instead. But that would require so much schooling. Does UA have a course track like that? Then you'd certainly have to go to university and finish up those studies like Tokyo U or something, or even overseas like Oxford or Harvard. Or would UA, being an advanced state-of-the-art school, cover some of those college course credits? And in order to really study something like that, you'd have to need a doctorate, right? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm mumbling again, aren't I? I tend to do that when I get too excited about something. Oh, that's embarrassing. Huh? Do I get excited like that about people? Well, sometimes, especially people that are amazing, like All Might. Oh, but we're supposed to be getting to the project, and, why I also asked you to come over, so... Well, let's get started. Let me just, get out my notebook. I just need to find a blank page. I have a million of these notebooks, but I got a brand new one for my homework projects. It's easier to keep things separate that way. And okay. First, I just have to get some information from you. How do you write your name? Hiragana? Katakana? Kanji? Just tell me the characters. Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't ask. Was that your given name and then your surname, or your surname and then your given name? All right. Got it. And what's the month and day of your birthday? Okay. What's your height? If you can give it in centimeters, that would be great. But if not, there are plenty of conversion engines on the internet I can use. Okay. Great. And, what's your gender? Not necessarily biological sex, but, what you identify as. Okay. I thought as much. Thanks for confirming. I think this is good in regards to stuff like this. I won't ask for your weight. It doesn't really matter. And, well, it doesn't matter what gender you are. It's kind of a rude question if you're not a doctor. Okay. So, now, what kind of quirk do you have, if any? Okay. That's what I thought. Interesting. I mean, since I've met you, I've kind of been observing you when I get the chance to see you outside of class, so you know. That's not creepy, is it? Oh, well, I just wanted to know more about you. Not for this project, but then I got the project and I thought, well, this would be the chance to get to know you. And I'm not the best at talking with people, you know? So it was really hard to ask if you wouldn't mind helping. I know you're taking time out of your day to help me with my schoolwork when you could be doing better things with your time. So, thanks. Thank you. Okay. And last thing. Your parents. What quirks do they have, if any? You know, if you don't know your parents, it's fine. You can tell me what kind of quirks they may or may have not had. Mm-hmm. And all right, I got it. That's it. Good job. Though we've only finished the easiest part. So, in order to really delve into quirk genetics, we need to know about regular genetics. I have some material I pulled that I've looked into already on the topic. Let me read some of this so you can catch up. Okay. Though heredity had been observed for millennia, Gregor Mendel, a scientist working in the 19th century, was the first to study genetics scientifically. Mendel studied trait inheritance, patterns in the way traits are handed down from parents to offspring. He observed that organisms, via the use of pea plants, inherit traits by way of discrete units of inheritance. This term, still used today, is a somewhat ambiguous definition of what is now referred to as a gene. Trait inheritance and molecular inheritance mechanisms of genes are still primary principles of genetics in the 21st century, but modern genetics has expanded beyond inheritance to studying the function and behavior of genes. Gene structure and function, variation, and distribution are studied within the context of the cell, the organism, and within the context of a population. Following along so far? There's some more here. Modern genetics started with Mendel's studies of the nature of inheritance in plants. In his paper, Experiments on Plant Hybridization, presented in 1865 to the Society for Research in Nature, Mendel traced the inheritance patterns of certain traits in pea plants and described them mathematically. Although this pattern of inheritance could only be observed for a few traits, Mendel's work suggested that the inheritance patterns of many traits could be explained through simple rules and ratios. The importance of Mendel's work did not gain wide understanding until 1900, after his death, when Hugo de Vries and other scientists rediscovered his research. William Bateson, a proponent of Mendel's work, coined the term genetics in 1905. The adjective genetic, derived from the Greek word genesis, or origin, predates the noun and was first used in a biological sense in 1860. Wow, that's interesting, right? There's been so much work put into this. Science is incredible. I'm glad I'm able to look through this with someone. I think this will make for some good points for my paper, but it is a little dry for a presentation. That's why I have you here. So, what I want to do is make a Punnett Square. That's a diagram used to predict the genotype outcome of a crossbreed experiment. And for example, if you wanted to see from a red and a white rose how many of their flower offspring would be either white or red or pink, the Punnett Square gives you some insight as to what you could expect. So, I was thinking we could do one for Quirks. And, we could, make the Punnett Square as if I were one parent and you were the other. I know something like that would be impossible, but it's just for fun, right? Yeah. Usually, you would have one dominant and one recessive gene, but depending on your genetics, you might have two dominant or two recessives. Of course, this is used mainly for things like plants or simple things like eye color, but it's just to showcase how genetics are passed on, so something simple like this will be fine for my project. So, first, we'll start with me. I have strength augmentation as a quirk, so, my dad, we'll go with dad. My dad has strength augmentation, and my mom has, I guess you could call it, like, acute telekinesis. She can move small objects around with just a wave of her hand, kind of like almost with her mind. I'm not exactly sure how it works. So, I will make mine a capital A since I inherited the augmentation, but lowercase a for the potential that I could have inherited my mom's gene. Okay, now your turn. I have your stats written down here, so we'll just... I'll just do a capital B and a lowercase b for it. I know it's not the best way to divvy up your genetics, but I'll be able to work on it more later and give it proper labeling. So with this in mind, we have 4 squares. One has both capital A and capital B, one capital B, lowercase a, the other capital A and lowercase b, and the last square with both lowercase b and lowercase a. You following along? I'm not going too fast, right? So, with this in mind, the one that is capital A and lowercase b, if we had a child with that genotype, they would have the strength augmentation quirk. Well, most likely. The odds are still 20% that the child won't develop any sort of quirk, but still, pretty cool, right? Oh, sorry. I sort of zoned out there. I was thinking, not having a quirk must be difficult. Anyway, here are the rest of the results. The square with the lowercase a and b might even show off the fact that the child would more than likely not develop a quirk at all, since it's a 25% chance this way if you're going by the Punnett Square. It's aligned with the amount of people that don't receive quirks. Well, sort of. They still could inherit my mom's telekinesis, for example. Oh, I even made some with my friends as practice before I did one with you. Todoroki-kun was really interesting. He's actually a product of, what would you call it? Selective breeding? Or eugenics? Anyway, he's a perfect fusion of his parents, half hot and half cold. But, if he ended up being able to use water, would that have also made him a perfect fusion? Because fire and ice together make water. It would melt, so that would make water. So wouldn't that be a perfect fusion? Or what about steam? Yeah, steam, because fire and ice, if the fire's too hot, it would just make steam. But no, what if he did just end up with steam powers? Or water powers? Would it only be cold water, hot water, lukewarm, room temperature? Would that meant it was a technical genetic success? Would they still consider it a failed one? I'm mumbling again, aren't I? Sorry. Oh, but I think this is all the information that I need. I just wanted to be able to conduct the experiment with someone from outside of my class. And I don't know a lot of people, and, well, I happen to think of you. Well, I know I asked you to come over here and help me with my class project, but that's not the full reason as to why I asked you here. So, I guess what I'm saying is, what I really wanted to ask you was if maybe you'd consider going out. Sorry. Todoroki-kun texted me. It just surprised me is all. I'll be able to answer him in a minute. I just wanna, before I lose my nerve, not that I really have anything to be nervous about, right? Well, anyway, what I was trying to say is, or ask is, would you consider going out with... Kachan is calling. Oh no. I'm sorry. I have your number, so I'll just text you, okay? About what I wanted to ask. So, I really have to take this call. You understand, right? I hope you don't mind seeing yourself out. I really apologize. Thank you, though. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Hey, Kachan. What did you need? Huh? What do you mean? You had a weird feeling.